And it is a video dedicated to nourishment and nourishing secrets for your soul to soar. Hello, dear community, dear friends. This is Katerina Satori. One of my deepest passions is sharing these very simple practices that I do daily that give my soul fuel. And I do these practices, and they're very simple. They don't take much time, but they truly give you fuel. And when your soul is nourished, you are, first of all, you feel like your best self, right? Second, you don't doubt yourself. You move forward with your vision, with your dreams, right? When we are depleted, we are vulnerable. We're vulnerable to the voices of doubt, to any kind of fear, right? We tend to isolate and we tend to procrastinate. So I have found it's so important for us to find these nourishing practices and to nourish our soul so we can create beautiful, beautiful month, week, year ahead. This is what I do in my private immersions. My clients often say, "Thank you so much for nourishing my heart into opening. Thank you so much for balancing me out and restoring me." And it was just the time to record the live stream. And I'll share this live stream on my other platforms, on YouTube and on Instagram. And I would say the very first nourishing practice that I do every single day is the practice of connecting to joy. And I think I have found that joy is underestimated in its capacity to give us real strength. But actually, when we are connected to joy, that, that inner state where our heart is open, our heart is available to life, we are strong in life. And the moment where we disconnect from joy, again, we become vulnerable energetically, psychologically, spiritual. So I'd like to spend a few minutes to share with you how I cultivate joy. Joy is available everywhere like air. It's an energy, it's an inner state that we can tap into. The bridge to joy is appreciation and gratitude, right? So I do this gratitude practice in a very expressive way. Sometimes I create really long lists and I'll write down everything that I'm grateful for. And especially the things that are really easy to take for granted. For example, if you have an ability to see right now, it's an incredible gift that's easy to take for granted. If you're able to hear the sounds of the birds, the sound of the voice, right? You already have so much to move through your day. You're able to see, you're able to hear, you're able to breathe, right? So the door to joy, the door to seeing reality with this innocence and a sense of wonder, like we used to do when we were children. There is a bridge and a door to joy, and it starts with this daily appreciation. You develop this gratitude muscle where many times throughout the day you pause and you say, "Thank you, life. Thank you, life. Thank you, life." And you, especially when you face challenges and trials or new waves of challenges come into your life, right? Gratitude will always lift you up and will give you new strength and new perspective. So, appreciation and celebration and looking at your life with wonder is the bridge to joy, right? And true joy is unconditional. I have found we underestimate the power of joy in our life. Joy is what gives us strength. Joy is also a key to our ability to reinvent ourselves, to innovate ourselves, to lift us up beyond challenges, right? To look and to recognize new opportunities. So, joy is that very expanded vibration. And I'm here to share with you that you can tap into it every single day. Yes, you can have a beautiful experience. You know, sometimes we go and we travel to far, far places. I love traveling. Traveling always brings me an expanded version of joy because everything is fresh and alive, and new sights and new views and new people and new food. But you don't have to rely only on changing your environment and only on new experiences to give yourself the boost of emotions. You can tap into it, into your ordinary environment. So that's the first pillar of nourishment. How do you nourish your inner well? By tapping into that appreciation and celebration of your life exactly as it is. I promise you, it will also boost your immune system. Today, I was sharing some immune tonics with a friend and a client of mine because I don't get sick. I don't get flus or colds for many, many years. And there is an art to that and a system to that, right? First of all, I cultivate very high vibration every single day, right? I cultivate a vibration of expanded state of being by practicing gratitude, by looking for so many reasons to appreciate my life, to appreciate opportunities, to appreciate challenges, right? And when you are in that state of joy, you actually immune to viruses, immune to stress, because stress is what lowers our immune system. So how do we nourish our spirit that stress dissolves out of our life? The second tool that I will offer to you is cultivating being throughout the day. We all conditioned to constantly do. And if you're my fellow leader and somebody who is in devotional service to others, your life is full, right? There are so many projects that you carry, there are so many visions you need to actualize. And it's a very beautiful energy of dynamic action. But when you find that you flow, when you learn to give yourself these pockets of being, before this live stream, I put a timer on and I gave myself 20 minutes of mantra meditation. And it was incredibly nourishing for me. I sat down, put a timer on, and I practiced transcendental meditation where you speak single mantra. And I was practicing with a very powerful mantra, divine feminine goddess mantra, Shrim, Shrim. And I kept practicing this mantra, and 20 minutes went by like a blink of an eye. And I finished meditation and I felt like a completely new person, like my inner tank, right? My inner well was refueled. So, meditation is another way of nourishing yourself. And if you already have this practice, then you know how powerful it is. Because what meditation does, it actually takes you out of this current of collective mind and reconnects you to your original essence, to your intuitive self. And that intuitive self begins to give you guidance, give you support, give you that nourishment, right? And again, the nourishment of the soul is what's needed for us to replenish our strength. The next tool that I'll offer you is community, right? It's so important for us to gather in community or to open your home to community. This last year, I've hosted many community events. We were watching conscious documentaries together. We would gather together to sing devotional chants. And it was incredibly nourishing because we here in the West, we don't have that as a part of our culture. We became so self reliant that we lost touch with the gifts that only community can bring. So, opening your heart to others, to meeting with others, whether it is a meditation group or a prayer group or make crafts or make vision boards together group. There are so many groups, but it does take initiative, right? It does take a willingness to create the time for community or to open your home for community. But I found that communal care is a unique sort of nourishment because you are around other people who are on a similar path as you, who also want to grow, who also want to serve, who also want to be around people who choose to cultivate joy, who choose to cultivate, a strength of spirit. This year, I will be leading events at my home temple here, and I just announced a goddess retreat that will be happening first Sunday in February. Please check it out. If you'd like to learn more, just send me a private message on any of my platforms and I can send you a link. But one of the reasons I keep sharing the message of the sacred feminine, it is because it's awakening on the planet right now. And what this is, it's not a particular gender, it's not just for women. It's a level of consciousness that is really rooted in our ability to embrace the mystery, embrace the deep mystery of life. It's also rooted in understanding the cycles of nature, that everything in nature moves in cycles. And when we align to the cyclical wisdom of the goddess, we begin to reclaim our vitality. So many people on the planet right now are fatigued, exhausted, burned out, especially women, right? Why? Because we have lost touch with the nature wisdom, with nature spirituality, with the cycle nature of the earth. And when we come back to that wisdom, when we gather together and we study the nature's calendar, right, the nature cycles that moves in a very unique way, when we begin to honor the full moon, the new moon, the different portals such as spring equinox and summer solstice and fall equinox, all those very cosmic portals that has been honored since ancient times, we begin to move with the rhythm of the cosmos. And this is the secret of living in flow. So many people want to know, how do I manifest with less effort? How do I become more magnetic to my true desires? How do I receive better? How do I become a better receiver? And I would say it starts with learning how to align to the flow of the cosmos. And that begins with giving yourself the nourishment through creating these pockets of being where you simply enjoy being, non-doing. And for high achievers, this could be not an easy practice, right? Because when you are simply being with yourself, whether it's meditation or breath work or reading a book that nourishes you, you will hear the voice of the mind that says you should be more productive, you should be doing, you're wasting your time, you have a lot on your plate. But this is the mind, the lower kind of mind that leads you to burnout, that leads you to spinning your wheels. So practice of being is actually a rebellious act. It's a courageous act where you begin to orient yourself to a more harmonious life. I have found one of the most challenging thing to master is the mastery of true balance, mastery between your activity and stillness, between taking inspired action and simply allowing things to happen. And this is the wisdom of the feminine. Your inner feminine knows how to attune to the pulse that is harmonious to you. And again, the beautiful fruits of this nourishment, of choosing to nourish yourself, is your energy is returning, your vitality is returning, your radiance is returning. So nourishing yourself is also a reflection of your love for yourself. And I'm here to tell you the art of self-love was very challenging for me to master, because for a long time I lived very critical of myself, thinking that being hard on myself and pushing my body, pushing myself beyond limits was an act of strength. And it was at that time. But what I have realized over time with maturity, that actually what gives you strength is a way of gentleness, where you learn to be more gentle and more compassionate with yourself. That's where you uncover a new kind of power, the power of softness, the power of embracing yourself with love. And when you embrace yourself with love, you nourish yourself, and that gives your spirit strength to soar, right? I can tell you more nourishment practices, but I would say another one is being in nature, of course, as much as possible, as often as possible, because nature doesn't take anything from us. You go to a place that is man-made with artificial lights and artificial sound. Eventually, you will feel drained when you spend time there. When you go to nature, you will always be nourished, always. Why? Because nature is pure feminine energy. Nature soothes your mind. Nature gives you those negative ions that is really important for your body. Nature gives you fresh air to oxygenate your cells. Nature doesn't take anything from you. It only gives. This is why for me nature is such an archetype of a mother, Mother Earth, Mother Nature, right? Because nature gives us that nourishing energy. So when you find yourself depleted, low in energy, and definitely low in inspiration, the first thing to do is to go and be in nature. And one of my favorite practices is to go on a walk in nature without my phone, and to simply listen to the sounds of my environment, to the sounds of the birds, to the sound of the trees, to the sound of the water because I'm close to the ocean. But to be there and to breathe and to even engage in a conversation with the elements will also immediately nourish your soul. And when your soul is nourished, you look at your life, you look at your opportunities as well as your challenges through different eyes. When you're depleted, you're more vulnerable to the voices of self-doubt and to the emotion of fear and to the emotion of, being spun out of your center. When you're nourished, you are in your center. So nourish yourself. Make this a beautiful practice, a true self-love practice. When you're nourished, you are strong. When you're strong, you move forward towards your vision, towards your dreams, one step at a time. So I wish you all a beautiful new year that is filled with incredible opportunities, incredible possibilities. Make sure that you nourish yourself. Make sure you remember that you are worthy of being nourished. And may you remember to give yourself one or a few of the practices that I have listed in this video. If you'd like a written practice with a meditation I have Ignite Your Morning practice that you can download for free. I'll drop it underneath this video. It's a good reminder how you can start your day in a nourished way and how do you continue through the day in a very nourished way. So thank you so much for joining. This was a brief live stream on the power of nourishment to make sure that your soul soars this year and beyond.